Welcome back to another episode of the Vendo podcast. I'm joined today by none other than the Amazon mastermind himself, Mr. Kevin King. Kevin, welcome.
Thanks. Glad to be here, man. Thanks for having me, Darren.
Yeah, absolutely. Just appreciate you taking the time. I recently came off another $1 billion seller summit attendance that Kevin put together a couple years ago. But I'll let Kevin introduce himself. So Kevin, please, for our audience, give a little bit of background.
Yeah, sure. The event, we just did the virtual $1 billion seller summit just recently, and you were at the first in-person one a few years ago. But so I do that. I also am involved. I've been selling e-commerce since the early, since before Google existed. Been on so back in the 90s, back before there's Google, back when it was Alta Vista and Lycos, and I think can't remember all the different search engines back there. Kind of dating my age, but started selling on Amazon in 2001, doing the FBA model around 2015. I'm involved in a number of different Amazon businesses, some that I own, some I'm partners in. I also do training for new sellers, a course called the Freedom Ticket that I partnered with Helium 10, one of the big software companies in the space to do. And I do their advanced training called Helium 10 Elite, which is a monthly, like a kind of little mastermind every month with 3 or 4 different speakers. And I do some ninja hacks. Run the $1 billion seller summit, like you said, twice a year. And then also partners with Steve Simonson, a company called Product Savants, where we help experienced sellers discover new opportunities.
Thanks, Kevin. Thanks for that. Yes, definitely. I would encourage everyone to check out, especially Helium 10. A lot of our clients use Helium 10. And I would say the mastermind group that you run, the Elite training, is probably one of the most comprehensive courses out there. So definitely encourage our audience to check that out if they get a chance. What is your opinion today on Amazon in terms of, is it saturated? Are people still able to be successful on the platform? What are your thoughts there?
Yeah, I think it's better than ever. Is it easy like it used to be? Absolutely not. Is it saturated on some of the lower end, cheaper items? Yeah, it is. Very competitive and very saturated. Are there a lot of people trying to jump into this because they see some course or they see something come across their Facebook and they think it's a field of dreams and they hear stories of people getting rich and you don't have to work much and all that's, some people do get rich, but you don't have to work much is not true. I mean, maybe in 2013 or 14, you could stick your logo on a spatula and go sit on the beach and actually make a lot of money, but those days are long gone. But if you got a real brand and you're treating this as a real business, the opportunities are better than ever right now. You could start, small and just have a little side hustle, or you can get into this feet first with a lot of money. And I think Amazon's moving more towards a branding space, and so a lot of their features and everything are more towards the branding. I think differentiation is critical. So the guys that are just going to Alibaba and finding a product and sticking their label on it, that's becoming harder. But if you get a true product, a true original, a true innovation, I think that there's tremendous opportunity. And Amazon still is the big fish. Some of your clients and stuff, you'll help them on Walmart and some of the other places. And some people do pretty well on Walmart, but most people I talk to are still struggling a little bit to get that footing. So Amazon is still the big fish and out there. And it's, as you can see by all the aggregators, all the private equity money that's coming into this space right now, a lot of people are taking it pretty seriously. And it's going to evolve, but the opportunities, I think, better than ever on Amazon.
What do you think about all those aggregators like the Thrasios, Elevate Brand, Perch, those players? How do you think that's going?
I don't know what they're doing. I think Thrasio actually knows what they're doing, and there's several of the others that actually are either know what they're doing or they're figuring it out. But I think a lot of them are gonna fail. There's just too many of them. I think Marketplace Pulse has a list, and it's 40 some odd on that list, and there's more that aren't even on that list that keep popping up. So everybody's seeing what Thrasio's done, the amount of money that they've raised, and everybody wants a piece of this pie, which is good for a seller that's selling because you can, should in theory be able to get more offers and a higher multiple right now. But I think there's going to be a shakeout and consolidation among those guys. I was actually on the board of advisors for 101 Commerce, which actually started about 3 years ago. It's one of the first guys in this space. They were the original Thrasio, or actually there's one person before them, but they were one of the originals, and they could, when they got into it, and Richard, who ran that and organized that, they raised quite a bit of money. They bought a bunch of businesses, and they realize how hard it is to actually run these Amazon businesses. I mean, you guys know that's why clients come to you. This is not easy. And there's a lot of moving parts, a lot of different things you got to know, from logistics to marketing to supply, to listings to dealing with Amazon BS. So yeah, it's tough. So they're finding that out the hard way, and I don't think a lot of them are going to succeed. But ones like Thrasio they got a good team. They're figuring it out, and they're kind of leading the way.
Yeah, and to your point, I mean, there's a lot that can go wrong on Amazon. What, right now, because of a lot of the changes, right, with reviews and other things that Amazon's making, what do you think some of the top sellers are doing right, and what are they doing wrong?
Well, the top sellers, the thing to do right is stay away from a lot of the black hat stuff. I mean, some of the top sellers are doing that still out of China, but that's not the way to really build a business built on a good foundation. So those guys, play by the rules, but play smart. With your innovation, with your marketing. Thrasio's trying to, for example, they're trying to own the whole thing. They got their own rebate club. They got their own marketing team. They're doing all the SEO. They got very specific people, and they're bringing in all these things under one roof and able to consolidate on shipments, able to consolidate on manpower and knowledge they learned from one. But so, I mean, it's still Amazon. It's their playground. It's not our sandbox. And we're just a guest in their house, and they can kick us out at any time. And that's always a risk at selling on Amazon. So that's why a lot of people say that you got to diversify and get off. But for most people, if their Amazon business goes down, if they're in e-commerce and they're focused on, like, say, Amazon and Walmart and a few others, their Amazon business goes down, they're still screwed. Because Walmart typically is a few percentages to maybe 30 or 40% for some people of their sales, and you're still gonna have to make changes. So that's how dependent everybody is on Amazon right now. And so trying to stay on top of all their latest changes and their rules, and it's evolving quick. And you can get caught still, even doing all that, you can get caught up in the algorithms. You get the wrong word in your listing, you get shut down, you get a pesticide claim, or have to fight, or one or two idiot customers says something stupid and it flags the algorithm and you got to fight it. So knowing how to deal with all that is critical in today's world, and having resources, either people with experience or someone you can go to that can help you get that back up, because Amazon's just grown so big. It's not that they're deliberately trying to screw with everybody, but they've just grown so big, it's just unwieldy and hard to manage.
Yeah, we've started internally tracking certain keywords that are flagging pesticide things on a list for our clients. To your point, it can bring your business down for days, if not weeks. So that's a real threat to those aggregators' business, especially as they have a higher percentage on Amazon. On the black hat side of things, it's something I don't hear you talk a lot about in terms of, like, hacks, right? You're known for the ninja hacks, white hat type of stuff. I'm just curious, do you have any anecdotes about some black hat tactics that our audience should be aware of, or just stories?
Yeah, some of the black hat stuff, the big one's merging listings, finding a big one this is mostly China. There's some other people do it, but it's heavily dominated by Chinese sellers. They'll find an old listing that maybe I was selling a pancake maker 3 years ago, and I got it up to 600 reviews and it's 4.5 stars, and I just kind of abandoned the product and never deleted it off the Amazon system. They have ways to actually go and find those products, actually change the entire listing, and then merge it with their new blender or whatever. And so most people don't look deep into the reviews. A lot of people only look at the first page or two of the reviews, the top voted ones up, or maybe the first page of negative and the first page of positive. And those guys have figured out ways to get reviews into those spots so it all says blender. But if you go down deeper, it's all talking about a pancake maker. But most people, and a lot of people, don't even read all the reviews. They just look at the star rating. And so if they can get that star rating high enough and enough reviews, they can launch a product. And so a lot of them are doing that kind of thing. A lot of them will go in on the cheaper stuff because they figure, if something costs me $1 and I can sell it for $12.99 on Amazon, let me open up 10 different accounts, Seller Central accounts, and on each one of them I'll keep squeaky clean and put 10 units in it. And the other 9, let's put 50 units in each one, and let's do all kinds of crazy ranking stuff. And who cares if 8 of those 9 or all 9 of those go down? At least I got it ranked, got some reviews, and along the way I'm merging it to that squeaky clean one. And there's tactics like that. There's all kinds of stuff that's going on out there. Amazon's getting better at catching it and policing it, and they've made a bunch of changes, but it's pop a mole. As soon as you not find one, another one pops up.
Yeah, we deal with quite a bit of that in click farms and review upvoting and downvoting and all those Chinese seller tactics, to your point. What about on the external side of things?
Smaller price stuff, because if the item costs you $1 or $2 and your account gets shut down, you don't care. What you lost, but don't find that on the higher price. So that's why I tend to go things that have a cost of goods of $20 and up, 15, $20 and up. Typically, you see less of that than you do on the lower price, because it's higher risk if they're going to play those games that they could lose a lot more money in inventory. And so those are usually a little bit safer bets.
Yeah, heavily commoditized type things like fidget spinners and the trends and fads that everyone comes race to the bottom. Yeah. What about on the external traffic side of things? Are you I know that's a big topic now, like Casey talked about that on a lot of podcasts. What's your thoughts on driving external back to Amazon, or are you still a big on Amazon PPC believer?
I think people should focus on Amazon initially and maximize that before going outside. The only exception is for launch. When you're launching, if you don't have an audience, you don't have a list, if you don't have something that you can go to help you get that initial launch, going to outside traffic is pretty critical. And like what Casey, he showed the $1 billion seller summit. He actually was a winning presentation, showed how to do some Google to Amazon stuff that was pretty incredible, and it could really give you a bump. And Amazon likes that outside traffic, and they like you paying to send it, because they know that if someone clicks to come over, they might not buy your spatula, but they might go buy a toothbrush or something else, and so they get there's still a sale made. And so Amazon wants those eyeballs constantly coming in, so they kind of reward that kind of stuff. And like Casey showed, there's ways to actually get even a double or triple reward for that if you do it in a certain way. And so that's outside traffic, I think, is great for those purposes, for launching and getting keyword rank. But after that, you might as well send that traffic to your own website if you're set up for your own fulfillment, instead of paying Amazon a 15% fee, unless it just doesn't make sense. In some cases, it may cost you more to use your own 3PL, including Amazon's fees and what you have to pay to ship it, and just let Amazon do it. So depending on your situation, it may be better to drive that traffic after launch, outside traffic, to your own Shopify, or drive it to Amazon at first, and then if you're on Walmart, drive it to Walmart, get that ranking, and then drive it to your own. You just got to do the math. Sometimes it depends on your item. Sometimes it's, like I said, sometimes it's just cheaper to just let Amazon mess with it all.
Yeah, and on the social media influencer side of things, I'm seeing more and more of that, especially with Amazon leaning into posts and other things like that. So what was your take on social media and influencer marketing, traffic, and giveaways?
I played with the Amazon post, and we don't see much of a lift off of that in sales. I mean, it's a little bit, but I don't think posts are like some great cure-all on Amazon. But the outside influencer stuff can be. You could, like what Tim showed at the $1 billion seller summit. Some of the tactics he showed about using influencers on YouTube and some different places, I think that can be powerful and can drive it. And I think you're going to start seeing more of a movement towards video on Amazon. I mean, you already see it with videos showing up in listings, and Amazon encouraging that and letting more people do it. But with the Amazon Live, it's still kind of in its infancy right now, but I think a few years from now, there's going to be at least a section of Amazon that's almost like a QVC or like a infomercial type of thing. And I think there's something coming there. And I think they may actually start taking some of that, even putting it on Prime, as commercials. You're watching some show on Prime, on your local TV station that's coming through Prime or whatever, and there's a 30-second ad there for some product that's sold on Amazon instead of for your local car dealership or whatever. And you can just tell Alexa, buy it, or tell your TV, buy it, add to cart, or whatever right there. I think that's coming, but it's early right now. But I think we're going to see more and more of that. I mean, the traditional search and everything's not going to go away. I think it's still going to be dominant, but I think you're going to see video /TV, however you want to call it, being more of a dominant, bigger player, and especially in some categories.
Yeah, absolutely. What's your take on the international side of Amazon, right? The different marketplaces that are, and I mean, it feels like they're launching a new international marketplace every day. Poland being one of the latest. Do you sell a lot internationally?
I do Canada right now, and I'm set up in the UK. I haven't actually made the plunge over to the UK, but I've been set up for a couple of years there in a couple of my businesses. I'm getting ready to, one of my companies later this year is going to be starting in the UK. We're not starting in the US, starting in the UK. I typically focus on the US and it keeps me pretty busy. And then I go into Canada just because it's easy. But the UK, Germany, Japan are all, from the people that I know that are selling there, are all really good markets. Italy and France and Spain and Poland, Netherlands, Australia, some of these little other ones are smaller, but they're growing. And so it just depends on, if you want to, if it's worth your time to go in there and the hassle right now. But those are growing. They're never going to be what the US is. The one that has the biggest potential probably is if they come up with some way to do Asia, besides China, but all that whole Indonesia. I know they're doing Singapore right now. If they can figure out a way to get Indonesia and Singapore, Thailand, Vietnam, that whole region there outside of China, or Asia, minus China and Japan, I think that could be huge as well. India looks like it's gonna actually might be a good one once they get some of the bugs and stuff, logistics worked out. So yeah, there's tremendous opportunity internationally, tremendous for quite a few products.
Yeah, no, and we have a lot of clients that do sell internationally. So interesting there. What you talked about diversification earlier, right, off platform. Do you do a lot of like Shopify or Walmart.com or other channels, or how do you play off of Amazon, if at all?
Yeah, I have. I've done some. I'm not doing Walmart right now. I did Walmart on 2 of my companies, and it just wasn't worth my time. I should probably revisit it. This was 4 years ago when it first started. I was one of the first 1,000, or you had to go through a big approval process and stuff to get in there. They looked at your Amazon, seller feedback, and you had to have so many and certain score and all that kind of stuff. And I have Shopify sites for everything, but the sales that come through there are minuscule. I don't really promote them. They're more just for legitimacy or someone that wants to pay by PayPal. Doesn't had a bad experience with Amazon or whatever. I do some stuff on one of my companies on eBay. It's a good audience for eBay is a great audience for one of my companies. But other than that, we do some retail on some of ours, but wholesale out to retail places. But it's not a major focus right now. I mean, I do have a brand coming later this year is going to have probably a 40 to 50% wholesale out to retail focus on it. But it's a different type of product, and we already have the distribution and stuff in place for it, and it's a key component of building this brand.
Got it. And I love the case study you gave during the summit on the brand that you're working on with Steve. So that was really cool to see kind of the evolution. I know you haven't shared the name yet publicly, but that was a really cool case study to share. Yeah, absolutely. Well, going back a sec, we were talking external traffic, but on Amazon, organic versus PPC, are you seeing the shift happen where there's more ranking juice applied to PPC versus organic?
I don't know if there's more ranking juice. I mean, it would make sense. I haven't seen it. A lot of people talk about that. I haven't seen hard evidence that there's more ranking juice, but I am seeing that PPC or paid ads on Amazon are becoming more and more important. They're taking up more and more of the real estate, and they're becoming more important. So it's an important thing that a lot of people are going to have to factor into their cost structure and factor into to their process of actually getting discovered on Amazon. It used to be just a couple of little ones at the top or the bottom. Now they're all over the place. And I could see Amazon, it makes sense for them, just like in a grocery store, people pay slotting fees. You want the cereal on the end cap where everybody sees it, you got to pay for it. And concessions or slotting fees. Or you want to be in the flyer that goes out, the Sunday flyer, and show that your Fritos are on sale, you got to pay a co-op fee. So I think Amazon's is moving more to that direction, and why not? It's free money for them. Why should they give it away when they can charge for it, and people are willing to pay for that positioning? So I think you're going to see organic actually continue to go down, and at some point, if there's 24 listings on a page, maybe 6 or 8 of them are organic, and the rest are all paid positions. I can see that coming.
Well, I know we employ chatbots and giveaways and things and some of our strategies. Do you still employ some of those types of tactics, or are you strictly kind of launch organic,
When I launch a new product, it's a heavy dose of PPC on Amazon. It's also I use some of the search find the rebate services. And in conjunction with that, we do some ManyChat Facebook stuff. And I have not been doing the Google stuff, but I'm based on what Casey showed, I'm gonna start doing at the $1 Billion Seller Summit. I'm gonna start doing some of that.
Yeah, we've definitely started testing a lot of the external traffic, so I appreciate the heads up from Casey there for sure. It definitely wouldn't be a conversation with Kevin King if I didn't ask a couple of ninja hacks for our audience before I let you go. So maybe one or two, or anything that comes to top of mind that you want to share with the audience would be great.
Ninja hacks. Make sure. Oh man, what's a good ninja hack that I could share? Man, my brain is shot. What's a good one for the audience? I mean, like, if you haven't turned on the category listing report, you should actually send it to Amazon and have them turn on that category listing report. They'll turn it on for a few days to a week or so. You can download that in your reports. It's kind of like a blueprint of your listing, and you can check that to see where you may have some fields that are not filled in, some of the sorting that's not filled in. That could be a great one. And you can also make sure you're in the right node in there, because there's a little if it's all lowercase letters and not uppercase letters, that means that because Amazon did a big update on the relevance stuff, and they went and manually changed some of this stuff, and some of it was scripted, but they missed some things. So if you're not getting some impressions on some of your PPC, or not showing up correctly on some keywords that you think you may actually still have the old category. I forget the exact name for it. I have to look at the category identifier. It might actually be in lowercase instead of uppercase. Uppercase means it's the new version. Lowercase means it's the old version. And you can just open up a ticket and have that updated by seller support, and that can actually make a difference on some of your rankings. I think I might have actually shared that at the $1 Billion Seller Summit. I think it was one of the 50 ninja hacks that I shared there.
Yeah, I think it was one of the 50 ninja hacks. I know you probably got
some of the best hacks though came from the audience. We had over 100 hacks. We had a hack contest with a cash prize, and we had over 100 submitted. And unfortunately, a bunch of them came in after the deadline. We had a deadline so we could pick, because everybody can't present all these, but we wanted to pick like 20 of them to present on stage. And there's a lot of good ones that came in after those 20 that got to go on stage. And so everybody that submitted a hack actually got the entire list, and there's some really good stuff in there. But that's only for $1 Billion Seller Summit folks who submitted a hack. So that's the advantage of going to these types of events, and getting out there, whether it's virtual or whether it's in person. Once those start happening again, I highly recommend get out there and network. I mean, a lot of people just keep their head down and just sit at their desk and read Facebook and few blog posts and stuff that come in, but when you go out to these events and actually meet and talk with other people, that's when a lot of really cool stuff can be discovered and new partnerships can be made, and you can really alter your business dramatically in a positive way.
Yeah, it seems Clubhouse is really facilitating some virtual networking. I know you're on there. Have you? I know you've set up some meeting links and things, but you finding that helpful to network more, like through Clubhouse?
In Clubhouse, it's more for me right now. I am doing it. It's more providing value. It's more of for me, because a lot of the Clubhouses I'm on, like I have one here as soon as we finish this, that I do every Tuesday with Bradley from Helium 10. It's more of a question and answer type of thing. It's more for new people to help them out. I don't know where it's going to go, but because you can't demonstrate. There's one thing where you can see someone walk you through a hack or show you, but everything has to be explained by audio. So that limits it some, but there's one that happens. Rana does one on, I think he's doing one, I think it's every other Friday, and that one's pretty high level. So he doesn't actually take too many questions from the audience. So you don't get the people saying, how much money do I need to sell on Amazon? But you get a lot of really experienced people in there sharing a lot of really cool stuff. So those, I'm seeing some really good value from that. And it's kind of like a substitute for the in-person stuff. Kind of it gives you that little fix until we can all hang out together again and sit around the bar and swap war stories.
Well, I can't wait to be in person again, and look forward to the next $1 Billion Seller Summit. Buy your beer, obviously, at any other trade show, things like that. Tell our audience, how can they get in touch with you? How can they reach you?
Probably the best way, just follow me on Facebook. If you just go to Facebook and look for Kevin King, or you go to amzmarketer.com. I think that that automatically forwards to my Facebook page, amzmarketer.com. That's probably the best way, and I post there whenever something interesting is happening.
Yeah, and the next $1 billion seller summit's going to happen in person, I believe, in September, right?
Yeah, it's in September. Barring any pandemic issues, that a few people might not be able to come internationally, but I think it's going to be fine for most of Europe and the U.S. But yeah, it's middle September 16th to the 20th in Austin.
Awesome. Well, Kevin, thank you again so much for your time. Really appreciate you being on the Vendo podcast. So thanks, Kevin. And just for the rest of our audience, remember, protect your brand and sell more. All right.
Awesome. Thanks. Bye-bye.